Greetings to you all. It is one beautiful moment again that AIM Agriculture is here to solve this headache of I want to quit my job to invest into poultry, or I want to work as I invest in poultry. How is the journey and how is the poultry farming business like, so that I can weigh between my job and the business? This is Antonio Innocent Mdongi, your full-time poultry plug, and if you're new to YouTube channel, guys, kindly hit the subscribe button, like, and share as much as you can. What a beautiful moment again that you're here. I have done a super masterclass just for you. Check it out on our website. I've shared a link in the description below, and I'm sure it is going to be a beautiful learning experience on matters poultry, dairy, and feed formulation, not forgetting BSF. If you want to start poultry farming, before you think of quitting your job, or before you think of putting your savings in poultry, one thing you have to know is that poultry, especially layers, are super capital intensive. You will put your investment here, you will buy chicks, you will feed these birds, you will pay labor, you will buy water, you will pay for electricity for a period of between 4 to 5 months, like 16 to 18 months. Sorry, 16 to 18 weeks before you see your first egg. And when you see your first egg, a very important point, it is not guaranteed that that is now the time when you'll be making money. That first month of laying, the birds are just starting to lay. And I'm assuming this is a farmer who has started on the right foot. The right foot, I mean, you have chosen the right breed. So you are like assured of production between week 16 and 18 and a consistent production. So in the first month, actually don't count as if that is production, because the eggs will be so small, and when you take them to the market, most consumers will prefer to buy the bigger eggs than those small eggs. So then you say, if you want to start a poultry business, know that you're going to have a good 5 months of spending without seeing a coin. We've done estimates, we've done videos of how much it will cost you to do 300 birds, how much it will cost you to do 1,000 birds. But on average, the cost of one bird, a bird like this one, which is now exactly 17.5 weeks. For a bird to get to this stage, you will have to spend 1,000 shillings. 1,000 Kenyan shillings for a bird to get to this stage. Actually, I can say 1,000 and more, because we've been doing our averages up to 16 weeks. But now when you talk of 17 weeks, that's an extra week of feed. So, the least you should be prepared with is 1,200 shillings for the bird to start laying. It is safer when you speak to your financiers, or you speak to yourself and let yourself know that I'm going to spend 5 straight months before I start seeing anything. And then I will start collecting eggs. By the time I'm getting to 9 months, I would have broken even. I would have now recouped my costs of production, so I'll be getting something extra going down. That's a fact. So before you start or think of poultry farming, before you quit your job, you should know that you're going to be broke for 5 months. The other thing that you need to know before you start poultry farming is the risk. The risk is very high. The risk is very high. When you're keeping 1,000 birds, then you, God forbid, you have an outbreak of an infection. Look at how close these birds are to each other. When they are feeding, when they are drinking, and even the handlers, you can find that the handlers are the same, handling this flock house and handling that flock house. So in case of a disease outbreak, the spread is very fast. Most of the avian diseases are airborne. So there's much risk of disease. The good thing about it is this. Even as you come into poultry farming, you should know that viral diseases have got vaccines. Bacterial diseases can be mitigated through biosecurity. There are certain criteria of biosecurity, A, B, C, D. We've talked about them in the masterclass, which is on our website, in details. So once you put those criteria or those procedures in place, you are one step safe, like you are not going to be faced with the challenge of bacterial diseases, but now you are left with the viral diseases. So the risk involved is high in terms of diseases. Then the other minor risks like theft of eggs, theft of birds, if the area you are in is prone to insecurity in terms of theft. Now, before you think of getting into the poultry farming industry, like you want to do your work and do poultry at the same time, or before you think of quitting your job to come into poultry, you should actually start from the market. Is there a market for the meat I want to produce? Is there a market for the broiler meat I want to produce? 2, is there a market for the eggs I want to produce? And you have to understand that the prices of eggs in the city, Nairobi, could be lower or cheaper than the prices of eggs in Murang'a town, and even further to Kakamega. So first start by exploring the market around you. Be assured of the market before you go into production. And one thing I would like to let you know, the prices that you're getting at the time you want to start production is not guaranteed that those are the prices of the eggs that you'll get when you start producing. Remember, you've got a whole 5 months of waiting for an egg. And the price parities could take place within that period. So don't put your mind, your budget, everything you think about in that direction and say, a tray is going to fetch me 420 shillings, and you stick to 420 shillings. You could be surprised that by the time you are producing, a tray is just a mere 350 shillings. So have in mind that even as you're taking the risk to go into poultry production, there are chances of price parities. So when you are doing production, then play a very safe card in terms of cutting costs, and you'll only cut your costs in feeds. We've given you the formulations in our master classes. Now, as you're cutting the costs in feeds, you should also try your best and check to ensure that the prices or the quality of the feed is high and the price is average or lower. So markets. You cannot produce a poultry product when you have got nowhere to sell. Start from the market, then now come down to production. If you are assured that this market is going to consume this much at this time for this much, then you position yourself to start producing for that particular market. So it is very important that you pay attention to the market. Now that you know the project is cost intensive, you know that the risk is high, you've secured yourself and worked hard to get a good market. What is this other thing that I need to know before I venture into poultry farming or before I quit my job, which is like my security? You need to have knowledge. Like you really need to have knowledge. I always beg my followers each other day. Have knowledge. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is wealth. When you don't have knowledge, you start a farm and fail, don't blame anyone. Like literally, don't blame anyone. AIM Agriculture has created super masterclasses for you. We've given you the masterclasses at the most fair rate. And these are practical classes. We've posted them for you on our website, which a link is in the description. Why can't you afford yourself a course? Then you come and combine with the episodes that we keep giving you. Do the cut on a masterclass. I will mark, then get a certificate. Then from there now, you say, I have the knowledge 70%. Let me go and practice. So even as you bank on employing an expert, yes, employ the expert, but have the right knowledge. Just have the basic knowledge, like such a feeder, it requires a certain amount of birds. Have the basic knowledge, like I need to have such a piece of wood whose main function is to lower the feeder and raise the feeder. Such basic things. You know, have that basic knowledge so that when you visit the farm, as much as the workers are working, you can also be able to say, no, this thing is not supposed to be at point A, it ought to be at point B. Just for the sake of being sure of the investment and having the investment at the right pace. Knowledge. Knowledge. If you want to go into broiler farming, get the sufficient requisite knowledge before you do it. Don't practice poultry farming without knowing exactly what you're doing. Don't venture into this business if you don't know what to feed, when to feed, and how to make that feed. What is the composition? You will burn your fingers. It is a very lucrative enterprise, just like I mentioned for you in the previous episodes, but the risk involved is very high. So it's good that you have the knowledge. Something is scaring my birds. Nope, everything is good. So we proceed. As we conclude, have you ever had a nagging girlfriend? Have you ever had a nagging boyfriend? So the poultry business is like a nagging partner. Why? This is a business that will require most of your time. It will require most of your time, like it needs literally your attention. Close to 90 to 95% your attention should be here. This business will require attention midnight, midday, and even in the morning. There's something that needs you to attend to. You have to be there. So when you're doing your poultry business, you need not to be far from it. You need not to be far from it. So that when there is a problem arising, then you are there to solve it right on time before it spills into something bigger. Remember, when you're working towards production, you're trying to maintain everything towards production, putting everything at optimum. And when you're in production, you're working so hard to sustain production. And therefore, your time and dedication to this business is very key. Now you know what is required of you, what is expected of you before you start or think of a poultry business. Who loves you more than AIM Agriculture does? If you're good with that, okay, fine. Hit the road and commit your savings in the enterprise. I love you. Bye-bye.